everybody. Welcome back to D Diets. You know my daughter, Angelina.
It's been a long time. I haven't been here in a minute.
No, she hasn't. Angelina1426. She has her own YouTube channel now. And remember when I was in the car and I was telling you about the calamity that might have went on in California where she just came back from?
We'll stay tuned, folks, because we're going to tell the story.
We're going to tell the story. We're going to tell it to you now. Okay. Who wants to start this story first about the California problem?
Oh, me, because I'm the one that had the problem first. So again, I feel like we're not together here. Okay, whatever. Again, I'll be over here, and there, everywhere.
We'll be everywhere.
So, as you know, I went to San Diego. I already mentioned it before that I lost my phone in the airport. But not just like any way that I lost my phone. I got into the airport. Mm-hmm. I was very relaxed. We'll just keep it that way. Very relaxed. And then I got some Starbucks because who doesn't like a good green tea, matcha, and a cookie? Mm-hmm. And as I was eating my ham and cheese croissant, which was delicious, I was stressed out because when I got my matcha latte, I don't need to have a straw because it already has the lids. You know what I'm talking about? With Starbucks, they have the drinkable lids. So I was like, oh, okay, I don't really need a straw. But the lady was really nice, and she was like, oh, here's a straw. And you're in an airport, everybody's rushing, so I'm not going to be like, no, I just took the straw. So then, after I was done eating, I was like, well, I want to dispose of some of the stuff. And I had the straw in a bag, and I was like, oh, I feel bad. Then I'm throwing a perfectly good straw. I was in my head.
You were anal about that straw.
I was in my head.
About that straw.
Very anal about the straw. And rapid speed, all these thoughts came over me, and I was like, oh, that's so wasteful. I'm throwing out a perfectly good straw. It's
you were
thinking
thinking about the turtles.
It's going to end up like the turtles. I don't know where the hell my head was going.
Going into the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was so distraught over throwing away the straw. So anyway, I throw my stuff away. I go over to the next stand because it's a candy stand and cookies. And I'm like, well, I have some time. I'm going to peruse the cookies and the snacks. Mm-hmm. So I'm over there. I get these pink squirrel cookies. I'm checking out. I normally, when I'm traveling, I'll have my sweatpants on or something. So I cash in one pocket and I keep my phone in the other one. Move it along, have my backpack on like Dora the Explorer. And I do my thing. Well, I was getting my candies and my snacks. I get to the register. Now, normally I feel around, but I was like, oh, I'll just pay. I'm just going to use cash. I give her the cash. I go to the next, you know how they have those, NBC, I don't know what the hell those news, little stores are, but they have, the magazines and, ice cream and water.
Like a convenience stand?
Yeah, it's like a little convenience place in there. And I was looking at stuff, and I was getting my girlfriend something for her son to bring back home because I'm, Auntie Ange, so I had to get some socks, so... Anyway, I'm picking this stuff out. I'm looking at other things. Now I go to pay here, though. And now I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. And now I'm really doing this. Mm-hmm. And I'm at the register, and I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm like, where's my phone? I open my backpack. I know it's not in my backpack because I did not open that up to put my phone in there. So I'm like, oh, God.
I'm already laughing.
I'm like, where's my phone? So now I'm panicking, and my anxiety's going. I'm starting to get really, I'm starting to tear up. And the guy that's at the register, I'm like, can I just use your phone? Let me try to call my phone. Because I was like, maybe I just put it down, while I was looking at stuff. I don't know. So I call my phone. Nothing's happening. I don't hear it. Now I'm panicking even more. But now I know I need to go look for it. But while I have this guy's phone, I'm like, let me call somebody and let them know,
oh, yeah.
I don't have my phone because I lost it. But I didn't know at the time that this guy's phone only worked on speaker. He failed to tell me that. So as I'm calling the house, I'm calling her. I'm calling and calling, and I can't hear her.
May I take over?
Yeah.
It was 6 times. 6 times that she called this house. And I kept saying, who's calling and hanging up the phone? They keep calling and hanging up the phone. Finally, I was getting aggravated, and Doug turned around, and he said, just don't answer. So I said, let me look up the exchange first, just to see where this area code was. It was San Diego. Well, right then and there, my friends, I'm saying to myself, this is a San Diego number. There's nobody on the end of the phone. Would you like to continue?
Yeah, because I couldn't. He's like, oh, my speaker doesn't. He told me later on. And I was like, well, what the hell? I would have grabbed anybody else's phone but yours then to make a call. Because all I wanted to say was, I was very upset, but logically, my brain was like, all right, it's not the end of the world. You get a boarding pass. You get on the damn plane. You'll make an insurance claim and you'll have a phone overnighted. It's not like it would have been the end of the world. But I was panicking because I was traveling alone, and I have a hard time dealing with my anxiety when it happened, so I got immediately flustered. I'm bawling. Now I'm just freaking out in this airport. I'm hysterically crying. I had my bandana on. It was full of tears because I don't know where my phone is.
Now, mind you, after I realized,
and I also haven't spoken to her. Like, I'm calling, but we can't hear each other.
We can't hear each other. So, ladies, you're going to agree with me. If you're a mom out there, you're going to agree with me. I call this number, and a man answers the phone. Not my daughter, a man. And he says to me, I go, hello, who is this? And he says, who is this? I said, listen, you've been trying to call my house for the last 15, 20 minutes. And he goes, are you looking for your daughter? I'm like, yes. He goes, is your daughter at the airport? Instead of just saying, your daughter was using my phone. No. He said, are you looking for your daughter? And can you describe her to me? This is not the first time somebody asked me to describe my daughter on that day. I just want you to know. So I told him, and he goes, oh, she lost her phone, and she's going through the airport right now looking for the phone. Now, you have to understand something. This is a total stranger to me. I don't know who this man is. I have no idea who he is. And he's asking me to describe my child. My child! I'm like, I'm still not talking to my daughter. She gets a phone. She's now hysterically crying.
Oh, I'm just hysterical. And I'm not getting anybody's phone. That'll help me. So I get somebody that has an iPhone because I have an iPhone. So I'm like, let me find my iPhone. Let me log into my iCloud account, whatever. So we see that the phone is somewhere. And this guy's like, oh, it's here. And he's like, we can walk over here. And now I'm like trucking it through this airport trying to find this little dot that I'm following. And it's taking me further and further away from my gate. And this guy's on a totally other flight. He's like, he's like, I'll help you. He's like, but I got to get back to my gate. Mm-hmm. So then I'm asking all these people. I'm calling the Lost and Found line. The guy on the Lost and Found line, oh, was he irritating. Because I'm just like, I lost my phone. I'm like, where's like there a Lost and Found? Has anybody called in? He's like, oh, I don't know. He was just like, I don't know. Very like, just.
Yeah, but you have to remember something else. You were able to call me. Finally, I called her on this number, okay? This number that showed up. You answered the phone and you were crying. And you said, I lost my phone, and you were so... I want you to know I didn't think it was my daughter. That's how bad the crying was. I did not believe it was my daughter.
Full on hysterics.
Did not believe it was my daughter.
On.
I said, Ange, describe yourself. I mean, I was losing my mind. And then she said, I have to go. So at this point now, I don't believe it's her that I'm talking to. Now I believe like I'm talking to a human trafficker. That's who I think I'm talking to. That this is a whole setup. Yeah. This is not funny.
No, it was not funny. I was freaking out.
I mean, other people might be laughing right now because this is the brainwaves that we have.
So as she's like not getting the right information, I'm still running through this airport. I leave in San Diego. In most airports, there's there's multiple terminals. Mm-hmm. So I leave my terminal because they're telling me that I have to go to some counter where my phone is, and then over the loudspeaker I hear, "There's been a phone found." Blah blah blah. Find it at terminal, whatever. So I leave the airport. I'm running to this other terminal. I have to board. Like my plane is starting to board.
Meanwhile, we're not talking.
No, I'm not talking to anybody. I don't have a phone. I'm running to this other terminal. I get to the Lost and Found thing or whatever it is in this other terminal, and they're like, "Oh, no, it was somebody else that claimed the phone already." And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm hysterical to all these people that work in this airport. They probably thought, what a nut job.
What a mess you must have been.
Was so insane. But I'm like, oh God, like it's not my phone. So now I'm like running, flailing, because listen, I don't run. So like my arms, I'm just going through this airport and like half running fast. And listen, I have no like
you have no athletic
there we go, athletic, no athletic capabilities. So
she's like her mother. I don't have them.
I'm hightailing it with my little legs, and just like the people are like, "Did you find your phone?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, and now I'm gonna miss my flight because I literally had to. When I had to exit my terminal, that means I have to exit through TSA again. So now I have to get back to my terminal, go back through TSA, go back through getting scanned and all my stuff again. And I'm running out of time. This plane is going to board. And I'm like, oh my God, now I'm going to lose my phone and I'm going to have to get on another plane. And I'm like, oh no. No.
I call her phone number.
Yes.
I call her phone number, all right? I figured maybe I'll be one of the lucky ones. Meanwhile, I'm texting her phone, thinking that my daughter is stolen, somebody kidnapped her. I'm texting her phone saying things like, please return her phone. She's really, really losing her mind. Then finally I take it upon myself just to call the phone. And who answers the phone? Let me tell you who answers the phone. Okay. Hello? Now this is where every mother would say, oh, I understand what Denise is saying. Who answers the phone is another man who introduced himself as the harbor patrol. Harbor. That's all I had to hear. Not policeman, harbor. Right now, I think they just dragged her body out of someplace. She's in the ocean. They dragged her out. You have no idea what went on. This man, he said to me, he says, well, can you describe her? Second time somebody asked me to describe my daughter. Now I'm thinking she's on a slab somewhere, and I have to. Meanwhile, I hear all this traffic going on in the background. I go, could you please page her over the phone? Could you? He goes, let me see if somebody can page her. Now, the woman sounded Chinese, I'll be honest with you, because I heard, Angelina, I'm like, wait a minute. That might be a trafficker or somehow. They're just making it look like she's not, they're just making it look like she's in an airport.
I'm not hearing any of these announcements because I'm no longer in my terminal. I'm in another terminal, so they're, of course, not going to announce me in a different terminal.
Right. Mm-hmm. And he's saying to me, well, describe her. Meanwhile, at this point now, I'm shaking because now it's Border Patrol, and I'm thinking she's floating somewhere. And I said, she's got short black hair. She's 4'11". She got long black hair, 4'11". I said, she looks like she's a little bit Oriental. He goes, well, I'll look for her. He goes, let me go up and down the. Now, I don't know if this is somebody that's real. And he goes, nope, there's nobody here by that description. And I'm like, oh my God. Now I'm shaking. Now I'm a nervous wreck because I have not spoken to her. So he says to me, this is what he says, people. This is what he says. I'll hang up. If you think this mother was hanging up that phone on my daughter's phone, you'd be sadly mistaken. 26 minutes. 26 minutes I stayed on hold, listening to all these people in the background. You know how you hear telemarketer people calling and you hear the other people in the background talking? Well, that's how it was. And I said, don't you dare hang up this phone. You stay on this phone with me. I said, I'm playing a nervous wreck. Could you imagine holding for 26 minutes on a phone, knowing whether or not your daughter's dead or alive? Because that's what I was thinking.
Could you imagine for 26 minutes? I'm running all over the place. Running. I get back to my terminal. I'm going through TSA. I'm like begging everybody. I'm like, I'm gonna miss my plane. I'm like freaking out, and everybody's like, go ahead. And then I'm like panicking. I'm like, oh my God, because you got to take all your shoes off. I'm like ripping my shoes off again. I'm like, I need to get through this. They're like, you'll be fine. They're not gonna leave without you. I'm like, well, this plane is boarding and it's gonna take off in like 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I get back through TSA. I'm running out to the gate, praying like, let me at least get on the plane. I gave it up in my head. I was like, screw it. Phone's gone. It is what it is. It's not the end of the world. I would have lost all my San Diego footage from the day before, but I was like, that's fine. It is what it is. As I'm running, I get to the gate, and now I see the harbor patrol man or the whatever, and he's like on the phone, but he's like waving my phone, waving a phone at me. And I didn't realize it was mine at first because I'm just like, nobody's in the room or in the area because everybody's on the plane.
He only noticed the nut probably running around all over.
At that point, I was sweating. I had my hoodie and my sweatpants on. I'm running. I got a backpack on, and I'm crying hysterically with my bandana over my face.
And then he has an hysterical mother on the other phone. The phone. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. So I make it to the terminal. I get my phone. This one's still not convinced it's even me.
I'm not convinced.
Because I'm rushing. I'm like, let me get off the phone just so I can get on the plane. Let me just get on this plane. Mm-hmm. And then I'm getting on the plane. She's asking me to verify who I am. And
I said to her, Angie, because she was like so out of breath. I was so nervous. I did not recognize my own daughter's voice. I'm going at both cameras here, people.
That's it.
I did not recognize my own daughter. Okay? So I said to her, what are the names of your two dogs? And
Angie, I need to know that this is you. Hello? And
I kept saying it. I need to know this is you.
I was like, I literally had my own phone. Because if you guys know, if you have an iPhone and you have a secure, like a lock on your phone, you can answer calls through it. So the guy was able to answer my phone, but you can't see my content. You can't see anything in there.
I had no idea. No.
And also, just to say where my phone was, a custodian found my phone in the trash can because I was so concerned about the straw and I was living in my own world. I was happy I had my matcha and I ate a ham and cheese croissant. Whoops. Right in the trash can.
She threw
right
it out in the
can.
trash.
And then it was ringing so much that a custodian was like doing the trash, which I'm assuming they took the trash out, started maybe walking with it, and maybe that's why I was finding out my iPhone was dragging me around. I have no idea, but it was in the trash can, and the guy had it at the gate, and
I did not believe it was my daughter.
No.
Did not believe her. I
No.
made that police officer stay on the phone. I'm going to tell you what else I did, people. I have a little bit of an investigative spirit. I do. And
That's not a lie.
this is not a lie. I am telling you right now. I will find you out somehow, some way. I called the Harbor Police. Yes, I kept that man on hold, the police officer on hold. I called the Harbor Police and said, do you have a patrolman inside the airport right now that found a phone? He goes, yes, we do have somebody in the airport that has a phone. I said, that's my daughter's phone. I said, is he a real police officer? I just
Did not believe it.
did not believe it. Did not believe it until I spoke to like the Harbor Police to know, well, they're not in the same building, so I'll get the right answer. And I did. And
I don't know why.
even when she got on the plane, I still hadn't seen her with FaceTime, okay? She FaceTimed me on the plane.
Oh, please. All the people around me, like, even when I got on the plane as I'm walking, like, they're like, did you find your phone? And I was just, like, so embarrassed because I look like a hot, sweaty mess. I have no makeup on. Thank God I didn't put any makeup on, because had I done that, forget it. I would have looked literally like an insane.
A hot,
I
sweaty
already
mess.
looked insane. But yeah, then I got on the plane and I FaceTime you. And now, you know how it is on a plane. Everybody's right there. So I'm like having this conversation. I'm like, why did you think I was being
I was crying. I was
child
shaking on
trafficked?
my end.
I know she's hysterically crying. And I'm like,
Hysterical.
why are you
Hysterical.
crying though over my lost phone?
I'm thinking
'Cause I
she's
didn't
child
know.
trafficked. I'm thinking she was child trafficked. All right.
And here I am,
Look
I
at
think
her.
she's just upset.
She looks like a little kid. And she's tiny. So I said to myself, somebody might have taken her. The screaming, the yelling in an airport, you don't know what you're hearing on a phone, right? So I'm just letting you all know. Mothers, would you not have done the same thing? Would you have not been panic stricken if you could not recognize your own child's voice? Because
Friends.
she was so out of it.
Friends, are any of your mothers as insane as mine is? Like,
She's lucky I'm as
no,
insane
I'm
as I
grateful.
am.
Like I said, I was grateful she stayed on the phone though.
Yeah.
Because like at least that like
I needed to
help.
know. It's like I had to hear, and they kept announcing her name over the loudspeaker because I could hear it. But all they kept saying is Angelina Anisheki. Angelina Anisheki. I was like, you're getting it wrong. I was like
I didn't hear it anyway.
I'm sure she was the only Angelina inside the whole entire airport. I was so nervous.
I was just like a mess.
What would you have done? Leave it in the comments section below. Would you have gone nuts if you didn't recognize it was your kid's voice?
Anybody else ever lose their phone and like lose their mind along with it? Oh, how irrational!
Your life
You're very
is on
irrational.
I thought I was very rational when I called the police department. That's when my husband told me to hang up. Do you think I was
my
going to
dad
hang up the
doesn't
phone?
he didn't care. He
didn't
was
care.
Hang up the phone.
He said, hang up that phone. What are you on the phone for? I said, I will never. This is my child. My child. No. I didn't hang up. I stayed on the phone, called the police department. When she finally got on the plane and she literally FaceTimed me, is when I know she's okay.
Yes, I was alive and well.
Yes, she was. Anyway,
Just the best.
I had to tell this
But
story.
that was our full story of our moment that happened.
Yeah,
so
of craziness.
If you want to follow my mom over on her channel on D Diet, she's doing a whole plant-based journey.
I am.
She's just, you know what? She does whatever the hell she wants over there.
I do.
gotta be honest.
I
Whatever the
do.
hell she
Whatever
wants.
I want. I don't care.
And that's it. And I love it.
So do you. And if anybody wants to follow my daughter, Angelina1426, I'm leaving her link in my description
Oh, yes.
box
The link
below.
will be in my description as well.
That way you can come over. My channel is basically, I'm doing a plant-based journey, but I'm also going to tell you I have a dog that talks on my channel. He
Oh,
does.
that's right. We have Buddy the Talk.
We have,
There's
we
a lot.
have Buddy that's over there.
There's a lot happening in
I'm
this
more than a
household.
diet. I am more than a diet. Well, you can see right now. I am more than a diet.
Absolutely.
And my daughter's like a little flake and a hippie.
You know.
And I love her.
Okay. Well, guys, it was really good telling you this story. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Be kind to one another. The heart. That's all that matters. I don't know what camera I'm looking
Keep
at, but
manifesting your dreams and desire. Look at us with our taglines.
Ooh.
Stop it.
Who are we?
I don't know. Nobody knows. Just two crazy loons.
We are.
But I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You know.
I love you too. Bye-bye now. Nice to meet all of you.
Yeah.
Take it easy, my friends. You know I'll see you again. Bye-bye. Mwah.
Bye.